All right, picture this. 1 second, you're drinking a glass of water. Next second, it's just gone. Not the glass, the water. All of it. Everywhere. Oceans, rivers, lakes, your bloodstream. Gone. 70% of this planet is water. Take that away and what you're left with isn't Earth anymore. It's basically just rock, floating in space, looking real awkward about it. And here's the thing nobody tells you. You don't get to enjoy this apocalypse for long, 'cause you're made of water too. About 60% of your body. Gone in that same instant. So step one of this whole scenario is, you personally deflate a little bit. Not ideal. Every ocean on Earth, bone dry, instantly. Ships just drop straight down onto the seafloor, crash landing thousands of feet with zero water to catch them. Every fish on the planet is now just flopping around on wet sand for about 4 seconds before that sand isn't even wet anymore. Marine life, gone in one moment. 94% of Earth's usable water was in the ocean. So we didn't just lose the ocean, we lost basically the entire water budget of the planet in one shot. And weather? Weather runs on evaporating ocean water. No ocean, no evaporation, no clouds. So somewhere right now, a weatherman is staring at a blank radar screen going, well, folks, looks like nothing. Forever. Ocean currents, by the way, are the reason places like London and Paris don't freeze solid every winter, despite sitting way up north. Warm currents like the Gulf Stream haul heat halfway across the planet and dump it onto Europe's doorstep. Kill the ocean, kill the currents, and suddenly cities that used to have mild winters are getting hit with temperature swings nobody built houses for. You personally have maybe 3 days without water before things get seriously dangerous. But that's assuming there's still some humidity floating around. There isn't. Zero humidity anywhere instantly. So your body starts losing water even faster than normal, straight through your skin and your lungs. Doctors call this insensible water loss, which is a fancy way of saying you're basically sweating out a bathtub a day without even trying. Your lips crack within hours. Your eyes dry out so bad blinking actually hurts. And your blood, which is over half water, starts thickening up like old ketchup. Your heart's now pumping something closer to syrup, and it does not appreciate that. Doctors will tell you severe dehydration messes with your brain way before it kills you outright. Confusion, disorientation, the whole deal. Which is almost a small mercy here, honestly. You're not going to be sharp enough to fully register how bad the rest of this is getting. Here's the twist nobody sees coming. Water vapor is actually one of the biggest greenhouse gases we've got, way bigger than CO2 in terms of raw effect. Pull all the water vapor out of the atmosphere at once, and Earth loses a massive chunk of its natural insulation. Within days, nighttime temperatures start crashing. Deserts, which already swing wild between day and night, start hitting brutal sub-zero lows after sunset. No clouds to trap heat means the planet just radiates its warmth straight out into space, unfiltered, all night long. So funny enough, a waterless Earth doesn't turn into some Mad Max-style scorched wasteland right away. It turns into a freezer with really good lighting. Every plant on Earth is somewhere between 80 and 95% water. Take the water out, and you're not looking at wilting. You're looking at every leaf on the planet turning to dust in real time all at once. Which means photosynthesis just stops, globally, instantly. And photosynthesis is where most of our oxygen comes from. So on top of no water, you're now on a slowly draining oxygen tank with literally nothing left alive to refill it. Also, RIP to every houseplant your ex ever guilt-tripped you about not watering enough. Turns out it wouldn't have mattered either way, buddy. By now, basically every animal on land that needed water regularly is gone. Every river that used to carve through canyons is just a dry scar in the rock. Waterfalls, the ones people used to fly across the planet just to photograph, now just cliffs. Dry, silent, kind of embarrassing cliffs. Hydroelectric dams, which make up a solid chunk of the world's power grid, go completely offline. No water, no turbines spinning, no electricity. So even if a handful of people somehow survived this long, they're doing it in the pitch dark, which, given everything else going on, is honestly the least of their problems. Nuclear power plants have it rough, too. Most of them use massive amounts of water just for cooling their reactors. No water on hand means emergency shutdown protocols kick in worldwide within the first day or two. Same fail-safe logic as any other disaster scenario. At least that part goes about as clean as it possibly could.
With no water cycle left to regulate temperature, the whole planet's climate goes haywire. Daysides bake under direct, unfiltered sunlight. Nightsides plunge into brutal cold with nothing holding the heat in. Earth basically starts behaving like the moon, blazing hot in daylight, freezing the second the sun dips down. Dust storms become the new normal. With no water holding soil together and no plant roots left to anchor anything down, wind just picks up entire dried-out lake beds and flings them across continents. Visibility drops to basically zero in what used to be some of the world's biggest farming regions.
Here's a weird one. Water erosion, the thing that's been carving canyons and mountains for millions of years, just stops. The Grand Canyon isn't getting any deeper anymore. No rain, no rivers, no more slow carving. But wind erosion picks up the slack in a big way. Loose, dry rock and soil, with nothing wet to hold it together, gets sandblasted by non-stop dust storms. So mountains don't get carved by water anymore, they get sanded down instead. Slower, but relentless, like the world's largest, saddest nail file. Water actually plays a sneaky role deep underground, too. It lubricates the tectonic plates sliding past each other, especially at subduction zones where one plate dives under another. Without that lubrication, plates start sticking instead of sliding smooth, which means pressure builds up way longer before it releases. So earthquakes, when they finally do happen, hit way harder than they used to, all at once, instead of letting pressure out gradually. Volcanic activity shifts too, since water usually helps trigger a lot of eruptions by lowering the melting point of rock underground. Take the water out, and volcanoes actually go quieter for a while, right before they get a lot more explosive down the line. And here's the darkest twist of all. Rain used to be Earth's built-in cleanup crew for carbon dioxide. Raindrops naturally absorb CO2 out of the air and lock it into rock over millions of years. No rain means no more natural CO2 cleanup, ever again. So all the volcanic CO2 that keeps pumping into the atmosphere just stays there, builds up, century after century, with absolutely nothing pulling it back out. Given enough millions of years, that unchecked buildup turns into a full runaway greenhouse effect. Thick, toxic atmosphere, crushing pressure, surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead, which is, funnily enough, exactly what Venus looks like today. Turns out, take the water off any rocky planet, wait a few 100 million years, and you basically get Venus 2.0, except this one used to have beaches. So there's your answer. Pull every drop of water off this planet, and you don't just lose the oceans, you lose the weather, the food chain, the temperature control, the tectonic stability, and eventually the entire chemistry keeping this planet from turning into hell's waiting room. 96 million cubic miles of water, doing more quiet, thankless work than anything else on this planet. And we only ever think about it when we forget a water bottle at the gym. Drop a comment. How long do you think you'd actually last without a single drop? Be honest. We both know the answer is shorter than you think. See you in the next one.